Let's see what we can find with only 1 hour of shelling before sunset, repeated over 2 different days. My typical shelling walk is 2 to 4 hours, starting out pretty early in the morning. But hey, short beach walks squeezed in where you can be pretty exciting too. Let's shell at Hobe Sound Beach and then much farther north on Merritt Island, shelling by the river. Scotch bonnets, lion's paws, jewel boxes, beautiful rough scallops, tinies, and wentletraps are some of the shells we'll find, and we'll take a peek at some live crown conchs in the river too. Welcome to Florida Beach Walks. I'm Roxanne. Let's go shelling an hour before sunset. It is turtle nesting season here in Florida. Lots of roped off nests. That one was pretty big. Might have been a leatherback. They typically have the larger fencing around them. Anyways, it was beautiful. I only had 1 hour. I wasn't even sure. I'm like, should I go? It took me longer to dry here than I did to shell here, but I had a stressful week. Oh, I needed to see the ocean. And here is a giant bittersweet clam. And I even ran into a traffic jam, so that took about half an hour of my time on 95 getting down here, but I didn't care. I wanted to come shelling. Here's a turkey wing. Pretty striping on that one. I love the turkey wings when they're really dark and nice and stripy. All right, here we have a lid, a jewel box lid. This is a left-handed jewel box. These are cemented by their right valve, and they grow clockwise out of the umbo, which is a mirror opposite of the leafy and corrugate jewel box. All right, let's check under the seaweed, see what we can find. Lots of shuffling these piles have been through, but there's still some goodies. Here is a broken flat. I started using these broken and chip flats and cockle candles this past week. And I think the flats just add a really nice touch to it. So I'm really happy how these turned out. Have a little base for them, and I should have these in my Etsy shop really soon. All right, here is a juvenile turkey wing, a little guy. When we go by the river, we will find lots of little shells, lots of minis. Tons of minis by the river. Looks like a piece of a gray Atlantic auger, but leave that one. We'll collect this spectral bittersweet. I started to make these flowers for the top of these gift boxes that I have in my Etsy shop. These were really fun to make. So yeah, I got really crafty this past week with crafts. There's just so many things you can do with shells, so much. Go ahead and collect another one, another spectral bittersweet. There was a lot of big chunks of seaweed, so I'm definitely looking under them. I think the most fabulous thing I've ever found under seaweed was, we'll get this buttercup, was a lion's paw about the size of my palm. So definitely don't underestimate looking under seaweed. What is the, like, have you found something really nice under seaweed? Let me know down in the comments. I would love to know. I keep on having the dream, like, I'm going to find a ton shell tucked under one of these seaweeds because they're pretty light, so they float. I would imagine they would be around seaweed, finding a ton. That is still on my bucket list to find. Here is a thorny oyster, a little juvenile one. Pretty coloring on that. And a limpet, a keyhole limpet. All right, now, what do you think this one is? Which species? Whoops. All right, well, let's see if I can pick it up here. Sorry, it's a little blurry, but I don't know where it went. Well, there goes the keyhole. I'll know where it went. I don't know exactly what type of species it is, but oh well. And here is a white bearded ark. Now, the first time I picked one of these up, I thought it was an albino mossy ark, but no, a whole nother species on its own. And there is a white miniature ark. And here's a very beautiful rough scallop attached with some barnacles. Has some barnacles at the bottom. Beautiful. And another spectral bittersweet. We'll collect that one. And another pretty rough scallop. I love the pattern. Love the patterning on that. The juvenile roughs are really, really pretty. And another flat. Yay! Looks like a round rib flat to me. Some of those juvenile ones are just tricky. Okay, we'll leave that jewel box. That's so pitted. I can't tell which one that is. The lid of something. Now here is a corrugate jewel box. They attach by their left valve, the opposite of the left-handed that we found earlier. I was getting those corrugates mixed up with the left-handed jewel box. And here is a lady in waiting. And I guess the white ones to these are lady in waitings too. I saw a post. I was questioning on my last video if the white one to that was a lady in waiting, but I guess it is. And a spiny jewel box. Not so spiny, but that is a pretty good size. Hold on to that one. And some some boat shells. And a common cockle and a beautiful Mexican talon. Whew, look at the definition on that one. That one's a pretty striking one. And a yellow prickly cockle. And another white bearded ark, but it's a little far gone. Here's a frond oyster. That's a pretty big one. I believe that's a frond. They can get all kinds of wonky shapes. I like the smaller ones when they're like a leaf. Oh, the little ton piece. I think that was a ton piece. Oh man, that's gonna be a good day. Oh, the day I find the ton. Now there's a mossy ark. That is a mossy ark. The related to a bearded ark. And here is see how fast that broke? A brown baby's ear. They are so thin. I'm yet to find a nice whole one. And you see how far you sink down in this sand? Let me tell you, when I was walking out here, my calves were screaming. It is a challenge. Sometimes walking in this sand. By the water is a little bit more compact, which is where I like to walk, but all the shell lines are in the smushy sand. All the rack lines. And here's a giant coquina. Beautiful, beautiful purple on that. Let's see, got a broken shark eye and a broken giant bittersweet. A little larger than the first one we found, but I'll leave that one. And might leave that turban also. Okay, maybe not. Like, wait a minute, I could use it for a shadow box or something. I love those shadow box with the broken shells. I think they just look really pretty. Hey, some turkey wings. Ooh, that's a really nice one. It's almost like instead of brown, it's like caramel. Another spectral and a worm cluster. Oh, I'll go ahead and hold on to that one. A worm cluster. Oh, I love to see the piles out on the beach. So many times I've come. Oh, I'll take that one. And there's nothing, just sand. Another worm cell cluster. Yay! At least I think, I mean, I don't know. I don't live on the West Coast, but it's so nice to go to the West Coast and to see a pile of shells, broken seraph. But on the East Coast, no. I mean, you can go, there's nothing. You can go, there's something. Oh, it's so nice to have these piles. Here's another really pretty rough. Oh man, that's really nice. So I'm putting the shells like in a little pile. I'll pick them back up when I stop filming and stick them in my shell bag. So I'll just make these little piles as I go along and then go back and pick them all back up when I'm finished, when I'm ready to move to the next spot. Oh man, here's a broken piece of a helmet. Oh, that would have been so nice. Oh, the waves are so rough. These shells on the East Coast get such a beating. Such a beating. Here's a broken giant Atlantic cockle. Or a heart cockle. This looks so pretty from the side when they're hinged. Broken shark eye. Let's see what we can find around this side. Come on, I know there's some good shells out here. There's gotta be. I try to go for the seaweed that doesn't look like it's been disturbed. Because I don't think anyone's quite turned it over yet. Here's a large stridula. Nice pink on that. And we have another keyhole limpet. I believe this is a rosy keyhole limpet, perhaps. And a lightning Venus clam or a lightning patar. Little chip of a, looks like a jewel box. A leafy, yellow leafy jewel box. Got a kitten paw in a very pretty orange calico scallop, juvenile one. Yay, in a Scotch bonnet. I'm very excited to find one of these this late in the day. Very nice. And a buttercup. All right, we'll set everything. We'll set all the tinies up in here. I'll pick that up in a second. Let's see. This is a pretty good size pile. Let's see, I see a pop of orange in there, but yeah, it's a broken orange scaly scallop. But that was very pretty orange. Let's see, I see another piece out pink. Rough scallop. Let's see. What else we got out here? It's amazing how the pinks and the purples, they really do show up so nice against all the shells and the sand. There's another little pop of orange in there. Whoops, didn't see that, or it's probably broken. Another broken scaly. A lot of scarping. Look at that. Man, that's a pretty good size ridge, but at least all the shells get clustered up in there. Hold on to that lion's paw. Lots of pieces. Aha! Here we go. All right, now we're talking. That's a nice paw. Yay! Just waiting for me. And that's a really pretty yellow prickly cockle. Another piece of a lion's paw. Broken dark seraph, but leave that one there. Oh, there's another flat. Roxanne, pick it up. I don't know why I didn't pick that up. Oh my word. I need that for my candles. Those flats really, even the broken and chipped, work really well on those candles that I made. That was a pretty lion's paw. Lots of pieces around here. It's like the farther you walk, kind of start finding some good stuff. There's another paw. Let's see. That's almost there. I'll hold on to that one. And a bonnet. No. Not a bonnet. A helmet. This is a juvenile queen helmet. It's broken on the back. I won't restore that one because I think, okay, I could restore it to that little layer, but it looks pretty cool. I'm going to keep it like that. That's beautiful orange. Wow, look at that. So gorgeous. That's a rough scallop. And here's another egg cockle, common egg cockle. So bulbous and shiny shell. Now this is really dirty, but this one, it's a rough scallop, cleaned up so well. And it was a beautiful, like a peachy orange color. Gorgeous. See that at the end. Cleaned that bad boy right up. And here's another beautiful, oh man, these rough scallops. These juvenile roughs today or this afternoon, are gorgeous. Yay, and a little lion's paw. All right, it's all broken on the top, but hey, it's still there. It's got its hinge wings too. That cleaned up stellar as well. Here's another rough scallop. All right, not rough scallop, flat scallop. A flat scallop. Oh, how many things have I said by accident? Okay, and here is a lion's paw. Gonna clean that one up too with some hydrogen peroxide. Beautiful rough scallops. Here's another one. It's dark, but that one cleaned up really nice. It was bright orange when we're done. This is such a nice lion's paw. Look at this one. And oh, I can't wait to show you this one at the end. I actually did an Instagram post on the before and after on this one. It is a red lion's paw under all that black iron sulfide staining. 6% hydrogen peroxide. Soaked it for, I think, 3 days. Got it all out. Here's the cob of a lightning whelk. It's so beautiful. It just looks like flowers to me. Not all of them look like flowers, but this one's really pretty. Hold on to that one. And more Scotch bonnets. Oh, I was so sad it was getting dark. I'm losing the light and the quality is a little bad. Sorry. Here's another Scotch bonnet. and a thorny oyster, but that one is so pretty. Oh, at the end I'll show you. It's like yellow and orange, gorgeous. Another Scotch Bonnet, yay! And I lost all the light. So glad I decided to come out even this late in the day. Here we are at Merritt Island. I'm here with Chalet and my husband by the Banana River. And again, this is about an hour before sunset. That was a fun VBS theme. We're doing true north. True north this year. Where's that little... I just passed it. Here is a button snail shell. These are really fun and really tiny. Got away from me. Lots of minis by the river. Another Bruce Nassau. And a bubble. Lots of bubbles around here too. Lots of bubbles by the river. See all this? Like the sand is under there, but it's just nothing but shells. Lots of crown conchs are around this area, and crown conchs eat oysters and these little clam bivalves. Here is a crown conch, little juvenile caramel one. Another bubble, juvenile bubble. Let's see. Now here's the darker ones, the darker crowns. I really like those dark ones. And here's a fly speck seraph and a marginella. It's like, which one is that? An Atlantic marginella, I believe. It's really pretty. Lots in the water also. I haven't seen a lot of hermit crabs around this particular area either. Just tons of empty little crown conchs everywhere. And here is a Tampa drill. Yep, you can find Tampa drills over on the East Coast, especially by this River Lagoon area. And here is a rose petal tellin. Not a stridula. And another button. And a bigger bubble. That's a really nice bubble. Striated bubble, Atlantic bubble, West Indian bubble. I think they have a lot of common names. Or maybe it's a different species. I don't know. I haven't looked into the bubbles too much. All right, so I did leave. I left Corey and Chalet over there looking through the minis, and I wanted to come out to see if I can find some crown conchs and what's going on nature-wise in the water here. You always have to be careful where you walk. Let's go check out these two crown conchs. Now, I don't know if they're necessarily, are they mating? Are they eating each other? They are cannibalistic. I don't know, pretty mossy there. I'll just leave them back to their business. And yeah, I can't believe I saw that one in the water. An Angulate Wentletrap. I just looked down, I was like, ooh, that's a Wentletrap. Yeah, very tiny, and we love finding Wentletraps. Very surprised to find these by the river. In a little bit, I'll show you a brown banded one. Gorgeous. And here is an alternate tellin. These are really pretty and big, like butterflies. I found a yellow hinged one before on the beach. Very gorgeous. Translucent shell. Just thousands of these little clam bits in the water. Now here is something that I thought was very cool, and I was like, is that a crown conch casing? But yeah, it is. Spring through the summer, the female crown conchs, they deposit these in intertidal areas, and each of those capsules has about a dozen eggs, and that's how they lay their eggs, on these little capsules like this. And they were all over. And here is a knobbed whelk. Wow. This is very old, very black, so I'm sure it was buried for a while, but it was atop enough to get mossy, but we'll leave that one there. There was a lot of these knobbed whelks rolling around. The knobbed whelks, the Keener's whelks, Keener's knobbed whelks. And here is a channeled whelk. I've never been able to find these larger, always the little guys. And here is another little crown, a little dark crown. Bubble. Looks like it's got a lot of oxidation on that one. Just picking up the crowns. Lots of crowns. Oh, here's a pear whelk. That one is a pear whelk, a little one, but it had a hole in it.
Oh, I just found a brown one too, Chalet. Beautiful.
Yay! Beautiful brown banded Wentletraps. I do love the Wentletraps, but these are hands down my favorite species of the Wentles. And here is a Morton's egg cockle. So gorgeous. It just reminds me of a painted Easter shell. Very pretty. Look at that yellow inside. Stunning. I don't know if I like the outside or the inside better. They're all so pretty. And another one. I was stoked just to find the first one. To find a second one was awesome. There's another Tampa drill and a bubble. Oh, I was so surprised. We stumbled upon these Wentletraps by the river a little while ago. Can't believe I actually found Wentletraps here. Not even on the beach, but by the river. Here's another little crown, another dark chocolate crown, and a nice bubble. Whoops. Dropping shells. Got my little container. Got my tiniest container today. And I believe this one is a pointed Venus clam, maybe? I'm not sure. If you know what this is, for sure, let me know. But I think it might be the pointed Venus clam. Here's another Morton's egg cockle. Wonder if that's the matching valve to the other one. Just stunning inside. Another little crown. And a Marginella. I really do like these, and this one has a really pretty color. Pretty caramel color on that. And I love the little lip. Even the little lip is defined. And this is so tiny. It is a juvenile crown conch. Not too far from its embryonic stage. Very pretty. And another Wentletrap, but this one is an Angulate Wentletrap. Angulate Wentletraps are very common on the East Coast out of the Wentletrap species. And another one, yay! Once you start finding them, they really do kind of just pop out at you. And I found my digger. It wasn't in the garage either. It was actually under a bag of shells. Under a table in the house. But I was so happy to find it. So it's definitely staying back in my beach bag. Hopefully I won't lose it again. And we have a thick-lipped drill, and those are the same. No, that's a third brown lined Wentletrap that I found. Another Angulate and Marginella. So in total, I found 3 brown banded Wentletraps. Pretty excited about that. When I was putting this beach walk together, the 2 walks, I realized that the Saturday Sabbath was sandwiched between these 2 walks, even though they were a week apart. The Sabbath is a huge part of my life. I'm a Seventh-day Adventist, and this was pretty special to me to realize that Hobe Sound was Friday evening, where we were before, and here at the river in Merritt Island was Saturday evening. The biblical Sabbath is from Friday sundown to Saturday sundown, a 24-hour period of rest, which I am so thankful for each week. I'll put a link in this video's description if you're interested to learn more about the creation Sabbath. And here are all the beautiful shell finds from 2 days, 1 hour before sunset. Look at all the colors are just so beautiful together. That thorny oyster, there it is, just gorgeous. Yellow like that with the burgundy and beautiful lion's paws and the rough scallops cleaned up gorgeous. Love the purple kissed umbo on those giant coquinas. Lots of crowns, which were fun. Red brown arcs too that I found. Some turkey wings, all my tinies in that that Buttercup. The Scotch Bonnets I was so happy to at least have found. I mean, I didn't find one, I found 4. That was nice. The Broken Lightning Welk is really pretty rose. Love all, even the broken lion paw pieces. Of course, I'm going to collect those. Got some jewel boxes in the back there, some bubbles, more crowns. Ooh, that's a really pretty burgundy thorny oyster. Got some minis in another buttercup. And my favorite, I would say, has to be those Wentletraps. Oh, I think they're so pretty, especially the brown banded ones. Thank you so much for watching, liking, and subscribing. And until next time, I leave you with this.